Age of Wonders Still in Future. Popular Mechanics, September 1927. Will sun energy supply the power of the future when coal, water forces, and gasoline have been exhausted? Why the future, said Charles F. Kettering, inventor of the self-starter for automobiles and many other things that have advanced the science of motoring. Isn't sun power our main power today? He asked. We are but using up the energy the sun stored away for us during countless centuries prior to the time when man first learned the uses of steam and gasoline. The time will come, however, when we must use the sun power given us every day. The world will use more and more power, and gradually our natural resources will give out. Not in our lifetime, certainly, but geologically speaking, just a short time ahead. Then we must turn to the sun, and to the spots on Earth where the sun is most active. Mr. Kettering says the world is interested generally in sun machines that are being invented with a certain degree of success. But he doesn't believe a sun machine in itself will be the method to be adopted for the use of sun energy. Coal fields, he points out, came as the result of vegetation brought forth by sun power. A learned scientist is now experimenting in Cuba, where it is possible to raise 11 tons of sugar to the acre, he said. In these temperate zones, we may do our own experimenting, that of making fuel from vegetation. But the method is too slow for this swiftly moving world. We must plant our corn in the spring, wait for the sun to develop it to maturity, and harvest it in the fall, all before we are ready to make commercial use of what the sun has accomplished. Now, in the tropics, this process is shortened by months. And so, when the time comes for us to turn our eyes toward the sun, we must take to the tropics. Visions of the world of tomorrow have been painted by other scientists, following the success of sun power machines, operated during the sunlight hours by means of great lenses to generate steam. Predictions have been made that the generations that will follow a gasless and coalless age will people the great deserts. But the engineer, who made it possible to start an automobile without cranking, and who heads one of the greatest research laboratories in the world, asks why bother with engines at all when the sun is at work constantly to produce man's greatest necessity, fuel. Who knows but that the time may come, he suggested, when man will learn to use directly the sun power. That instead of waiting for the sun to place its energy into a grain of corn which man can remove in the shape of alcohol, such energy may not be put to work at once as a slave to the ingenuity of man. In stressing the importance of fuel, Mr. Kettering emphasizes that mankind is merely taking its first toddling steps in science, and cites the case of J.W. Mettler of Great Falls, Montana, who in 1888 received a suit and overcoat for dumping 20,000 barrels of gasoline into a creek and not getting caught at it. Gasoline was the white elephant to the refiner, for when too much of it was left in kerosene, lamps exploded. He gladly paid anyone to get rid of the dangerous stuff. Today, as Mr. Kettering says, more than 1/2 of the horsepower produced in the United States is developed by gasoline. When our crude oil is gone, we must learn how to cause the sun to make us more, not in the process that requires ages, but quickly, he says. Mr. Kettering believes the greatest danger in the world today is the belief generally held that this is a wonderful age. When man first learned to fashion knives and hatchets of flint, he thought that he lived in a wonderful age, he illustrated. Next, when a smarter generation fashioned their implements of bronze, they too considered themselves wonderful, and so on through the ages. Now we have automobiles, radio, steam engines, airplanes, and radium, and we go around boasting about our wonderful age, but we are just learning to walk. Mr. Kettering often lectures in his laboratory and loves to illustrate. His favorite is the small electric furnace in his laboratory. In the furnace, we'll take a piece of iron bar and heat it red hot, he said. Over the furnace, while the iron is red hot, we'll place this piece of ice and notice that it doesn't melt. On top of the ice, we'll put this skillet, and in it drop an egg. You notice the egg fries while the ice does not melt. That is all very simple, because all we have is a transformer that sends out electric radiations. When we place in the furnace a piece of metal, these radiations induce electric currents in the metal, which make it hot. We all know that electric currents will not flow into ice, so the ice does not get hot. We get all our heat from the sun, whose rays pass through space that is absolute zero, and it is only when they strike something that they are converted into heat. The heat was generated in the bar, but not in the ice. Gasoline, as the important fuel, says the engineer, is being made better today than ever before, and yet, he affirms, scientists have just taken their first steps in getting all the power out of gasoline. The world must accept new things or die, he declared. We all know that every civilized country that became satisfied with its old things passed away. We must quit saying we are living in a wonderful age, for the wonderful age is yet to come.